Mark, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, went back to his home country. Jesus Christ went back to his home. And my God, here he was healing. He was doing all this great stuff wherever he went. But Jesus Christ went back to the community that he was born and raised. My God, Jesus Christ went back to the community, the people that should have known him the best. But my God, what happened? Here Jesus Christ, who the wisdom of God was on him. He was God's son, the Son of God. And here he went back to his home. My God, and the first thing they did, they were offended by the wisdom that God gave him. They were offended because they thought they knew his parents. They were offended because they knew that he was born in a stable. They were offended because they thought that this simple little boy who was a carpenter's son should not have the wisdom that he had. My God, let's go back over this again. Then he went out from there. And came to his own country. And his disciples followed him. You see, my brothers and sisters, this should have been a proud moment in the history of Jesus Christ. But here it says, and he went out from there and in his own country. And his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath had come, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many hearing him were astonished. You see, my brothers and sisters, when God gives wisdom, it will astonish some people, but in others it will offend. My God, and when the Sabbath had come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, where did this man get these things? And what wisdom is this which is given to him, that such mighty works are performed by his hand? You see, my brothers and sisters, what is the point I'm trying to make? My God, the point is, my brothers and sisters, if you have something that God has given you, you're better off going among strangers. If you have something that God has anointed you with, if you have something that God is going to do with you, don't tell too many folks, because you see, my brothers and sisters, they always look at Jesus as the carpenter's son. Here you had the lily of the valley. Here you had the bright and morning star. Here you had the fairest of 10,000. And here the people in his own country was asking the question, where did this man get these things? And what wisdom is this which has given to him? And that such mighty works be performed by his hands. You see, my brothers and sisters, I don't know, maybe God is trying to show me something. Because the bottom line is that they did this with Jesus. Jesus, who is the fairest of 10,000. Jesus, who is the lily of the valley. Jesus Christ, who is the King of heaven. Jesus Christ, who God gave all power. And if this was said of Jesus Christ by those that were supposed to know him the best, what will it say about us? My God, it says, where did this man get these things? And what wisdom is this which is given to him, that such mighty works are performed by his hands? My God, and here they asked a rhetorical question, a question that they knew the answer, but this question was to legitimize who they thought he was. And the question in verse 3 was, is this not the carpenter's son? Is this not the carpenter's son, son of Mary, brothers of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? You see, my brothers and sisters, this question was to say, I know who he is, and we know who he ain't. My God, and it says, is this not the carpenter's son? How could God give him this type of wisdom? How could God bestow this wisdom on this man? How could God make him the king of the Jews? How could God make him the lily of the valley? How could God give him all this power? And it says, is this not the carpenter's son, the son of Mary, the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? So they were offended by him. You see, my brothers and sisters, when God gives you something, it's not for everybody. When God gives you something, it's not for everybody. And somebody's going to be offended. Somebody, my God, somebody's going to be offended. Because you see, my brothers and sisters, Jesus know him. Jesus Christ was held back by the Sadducees, held back by the Pharisees, because they were so religious, my God, that they were offended by whatever he said, because God did not give them the insight. God could not give them the insight to see what Jesus Christ was about. So here it is, the Son of God struggling, my God, in his hometown. The Son of God could not preach in his own town. Because why? Because they were offended by him. My God, and it says in verse 3, is this not the carpenter's son, the son of Mary, brother of James, Joseph, Judas, Simon, and are not his sisters here with us? So they were offended at him. But Jesus said to them, my God, here is the Son of God, the man who died, the man who was very God and very man, the man who died to take away the sins of the world. Now I feel good in myself. Now I understand when people reject me. I understand when people are offended. Because you see, my brothers and sisters, here's what Jesus said. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor, my God, except in his own country, among his own relatives, and in his own house. You see, my brothers and sisters, you see, people are always thinking about what you used to be. But they can't see, especially those that are religious, what God can do with a zero and make them into a hero. You see, my brothers and sisters, because they have not gotten the understanding that God can take you and turn you around, because God has not taken them and turned them around. They're only religious, but they're lost. And so because of that, a testimony comes from your whole life. And if your own life has not been turned around, if you're living because you think you're all that, if you're living because you are doing it all by yourself, and God has not turned you around, then you can't understand when God turns somebody else around. And so it says, but Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, except in his own country, among his own relatives and his own house. You see, my brothers and sisters, if God turned you around, then you can understand when you see a thief, because you maybe was a thief at one point, and God has turned you around. But if God never turned you around, you can't understand it, because you see, your situation is that you're living in yourself. Your situation is